What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
I think the man is supposed to sacrifice his life for everybody else, and he don't get no reward,
no respect,
no enjoyment for it, and there's no return on it. The man's happiness don't mean nothing to nobody. The man's peace don't mean nothing to nobody. The man ain't appreciated, homie, till his presence is no longer there. That's the only way he can be appreciated. Yeah. The foreign woman, if you give her a bag of fruit, her and her family would appreciate the bag of fruit.
Hey.
The American woman done got so she said, you can't even take me to go get the Cheesecake Factory. Hey. You can't even take me here.
Have you ever swiped right on nothing but disappointment? A recent study by Pew Research Center found that a whopping 30% of men have opted out of online dating altogether. That's millions of men choosing self-love over swiping left. Are men giving up on love?
Hey, I gave up on dating. They all got the same motive. I'm broke, but what could you do for me? Yeah, I don't got nothing going on, but my man got at least have something going on. I don't drive, but he better have a car. I'm in between jobs, but I can't mess with no bum dude. Yeah, I got 2 baby fathers and 3 kids, but I can't date a dude that got kids. It's like playing reverse Uno. It's like watching a Netflix film without the subtitles. You don't understand. It's like playing 2K, but you can't use X, Y, or B. It ain't fair. It don't make sense, so I just quit.
This isn't just a few frustrated bachelors. The numbers suggest a significant shift in how some men view modern dating. In this video, we'll be looking into what might be driving this trend. Is it something women are doing or not doing? Have dating norms changed? We'll explore the reasons behind this and see if it's really the end of happily ever after or a sign of something entirely different. Now, I know this can be a touchy subject, but let's approach it with an open mind and some honest discussion. So, what's the deal with men these days? It seems like everywhere you look, there's this narrative about how men are somehow falling short.
Okay, so we did get a couple of pop balloons. Okay. Let's go on over there and see why they ended up popping. Okay, let's start with your name and age and why you ended up popping your balloon.
All right, my name is Bassi. I'm 36. I'm going to be 37 in a couple of days. Yeah, so yeah. The reason why I popped the balloon because, I don't know, you do look good. I like what you're wearing. The only issue is just I don't feel any chemistry. Yeah, that's just it. But you do look good, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now, is he someone that's your type?
No. No.
Okay, and why not?
Height, mainly.
Okay.
That might be an issue.
Too short?
We about the same height.
What? I'm 6 foot.
Oh.
What?
How tall are you?
5 feet, but in these heels, I feel like I'm getting a little bit taller.
No.
But I'm 6 foot. You know that, right? Yeah, I'm 6 foot.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to our next pop balloon.
Or they're not meeting certain expectations.
So yesterday was National Girlfriend Day, and I was seeing all over Facebook and all over Instagram my friends' boyfriends posting about how they appreciate them and how much they're loved. And I'm just a little bit sad because my boyfriend Jason didn't do that yesterday.
I didn't participate in the dumb, made-up holiday that doesn't even exist. It's not even a real, made-up holiday.
Wow.
But it means something to me. Like, it's really embarrassing to see all of my...
Does it, or are you making it mean something that it doesn't really mean? Here's how you can tell it's a made-up holiday.
Yep.
Hallmark doesn't even have a card for it.
Oh, boy. So wait, Jason, do you ever post your girlfriend on social media, or are you kind of a guy that never posts?
If we're out and about at a park or something and we get a nice picture in front of an azalea bush or something, I'll make my profile picture. I'm not ashamed of her. I love her. I show her off online, but I'm not gonna be beholden to this dumb Wikipedia made up holiday that some dude that was probably in trouble with his girlfriend made up to try to get out of trouble.
And Karen, Karen, if your relationship's great, do you really care that much about a social media post?
Right?
I mean, it would just be nice. I mean, it's ironic that you talked about this guy who was in trouble with his girlfriend when that's what's happening to you right now.
Oh, boy.
But have we ever stopped to consider that maybe, just maybe, men are reacting to real issues concerning relationships? Think about it. Men often feel like they're being unfairly treated, whether it's in relationships, the workplace, or even in society as a whole. They're tired of feeling like they have to constantly defend themselves or walk on eggshells to avoid being labeled as abusive or toxic. Most of the time, they tag this to the effects of feminism. Let's talk about feminism for a moment.
Feminists are the biggest frauds on the planet. They don't care about equality or women's rights unless it benefits them and they can get clout. Case in point, they have been nothing but silent as biological men who are trans women, who identify as women, are replacing them and dominating them in their sports and spaces.
You blew it!
Feminism was never solely about equality. It was about rights. The civil rights movement fought for equal rights for everyone, regardless of gender or race. Women could vote, and in some cases, they could even rule. But somewhere along the line, feminism took a different turn. It became less about equal rights and more about pushing a particular agenda. And now, we're seeing the consequences of that shift. Take, for example, the push for women to enter traditionally male-dominated fields like firefighting or law enforcement. Now, I'm all for women pursuing their passions and breaking barriers, but let's be real here. There are some jobs that require a certain level of physical strength and stamina that most women simply don't have. We've seen time and time again how even our strongest male athletes can easily outperform the best female athletes. It's not because men are somehow superior, it's just basic biology.
Who's stronger, him or you?
Well, if Sukuna regained all his power, he might cause me a little trouble.
But would you lose?
I would win.
Men tend to have more muscle mass and higher levels of testosterone, which gives them a natural advantage in sports. It's not about gender discrimination, it's about acknowledging biological differences. However, despite all the noise and confusion, there are still plenty of women out there who embrace their femininity and respect traditional gender roles. Women who understand that true empowerment comes from lifting each other up, not tearing each other down. Away from feminism, let's talk about the utter disdain some women have for men. You know the type. They paint all men with the same brush, labeling them as nothing but walking stereotypes of toxic masculinity.
Okay, you guys are all just like really misogynistic.
How do you define misogyny? What? I'm just asking how you define misogyny.
Can I go?
Are you okay? Like, do you want, you want to go as in leave?
Can I please go?
If you, yeah, no, look, if you want to leave, you can leave. I was hoping we could continue having a conversation, but, okay, I mean.
That's not masculine, that's toxic masculinity.
Buzzword. The buzzwords, okay. What is toxic masculinity?
You should know that. You should know that.
Yes, I'm asking you. How do you define toxic masculinity?
There is that kind of perception where I guess men can't like show emotion or stuff like that. I feel like, or they just get so mad, or like their emotions are so high where they end up showing it in anger. I feel like that happens a lot, and I've seen that firsthand.
Okay.
But guess what? Just because someone has a Y chromosome doesn't mean they're out to ruin your life. It's time to drop the assumptions and give men the respect they deserve. And let's not forget about accountability, or rather, the lack of it. Too many women these days hide behind the excuse of oppression and victimhood whenever they're called out for their irrational behavior. It's time to take responsibility for our actions and stop playing the blame game. There's also the issue of inflated egos. You know the type. They think they're God's gift to humanity just because they happen to be women.
Do you know me prior to today?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've been trying to keep from going here based on your behavior and your looks. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to hurt you. You're not, ma'am, you're probably a 5. Do you wear hair weave?
Yeah, I do.
You're probably a 5, ma'am.
How much do you make?
That's none of your business.
And don't ask me.
I asked you how much does your husband make?
How much does your husband make?
Oh, my boyfriend makes enough. Trust
How
me.
much?
My boyfriend makes definitely well over 6 figures. So.
But how much?
That's none of your business.
Then don't ask me.
Okay, but you're over here talking about how you are not judging anything, but if a man did not make 6 figures, you probably wouldn't be with him.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, that is
Thank
correct.
you.
I never said that.
That's
That's my point.
Thank you.
And so you have a preference too.
I never said I didn't have a
So
preference.
why are you like living
I'm
in the
not
reality?
gonna be
Why-
mean towards
why
someone
is in
about
your
my
fairy
preference,
world,
though.
Do you not realize that being a star is not the normality today?
But do you
But you
realize
think it
that I
is.
judge you for the way that you speak to me?
Okay. But I can judge you for
Exactly.
the way you're speaking to me too.
Okay.
So what's your point?
My point is that I think fundamentally, you
Do you even know
guys.
what fundamentally means?
Yes. And that was mean. That shows your character more than it shows mine.
Your
Fundamentally, let me
shown.
speak. Don't cut me off.
Nobody cut you off.
You did. Fundamentally, and you made fun of me.
They expect nothing less than a Wall Street billionaire who agrees with their every whim. But newsflash, ladies, respect is earned, not given, and it's time to check that ego at the door. Now there's this idea floating around that women can do without men. They say things like, they do nothing all day, or we can manage just fine without them. But hold on a second. Let's not jump to conclusions here.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. Broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like I think in the political moment.
I mean,
and by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men because I think I would die without gay men.
Excuse me, the ABC network, which is hosting this show, would have canceled the show if it were a panel of men saying that women are useless. I see the producer right there. I wonder what you think about this one. Y'all would have called them misogynists, and the media would have destroyed the lives of those men. That's something to reflect on. And aside from that, everything you just said were emotional responses, but that's to be expected from a low IQ panel.
The truth is that men play a huge role in society. From working hard to provide for their families to contributing to important industries and innovations, men are an integral part of our world. Now, about the dating scene. It's tough out there for men. They're constantly under pressure to impress and meet unrealistic standards set by society. And let's not forget about the double standards when it comes to mistreatment. If a man mistreats a woman, there are consequences, and rightly so. But when the tables are turned and women mistreat men, it's like crickets chirping. There are no repercussions, and sometimes they're even praised for their behavior. It's a glaring imbalance that needs to be addressed. Take the Me Too movement, for example. While it started with good intentions of bringing justice to victims of harassment and abuse, it's gotten to a point where men feel like they're walking on eggshells just by glancing in a woman's direction. I mean, imagine being scolded by a stranger at a bus stop for something as innocent as accidentally brushing against their shirt. It's enough to make you think twice about interacting with anyone.
Back in the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the third date, fourth date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they are like, you don't know where a woman's gonna go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody. And it sucks because the Me Too movement is so strong and so powerful for the people that need it, but it shouldn't ruin the maturity that we should have within intimacy and relationships.
As a result, many men have sworn off dating modern feminists altogether. They're tired of being demonized and made to feel like second-class citizens in their own relationships. And you know what's even more frustrating? Seeing people continue to date toxic individuals, despite the warning signs. It's like a vicious cycle. They keep going back to the same kind of person, hoping for a different outcome, but it never changes. It's time to break free from that pattern and recognize when a relationship is toxic, no matter how tempting it may be to stick around. And for those who have been burned in the past, it's okay to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. Don't let anyone use or manipulate you. Whether it's for financial gain or emotional satisfaction, you deserve better than that. There are some good Western women who aren't buying into the whole modern feminist ideology. They're like a breath of fresh air. But finding them? That's a whole different story. There needs to be a dating service catering to men who want a partner, not a modern feminist or a free spirit. Men need to wake up and realize that there's more to life than chasing after women who don't appreciate them. Women have made their choice, so it's time for us to stop crying and start carving out our own paths. We're not here to be anyone's doormat. We deserve to be wanted and appreciated for who we are. Finally, let's address something up front. It's totally okay for a woman to be independent and self-sufficient.
Strong, independent woman. I could do anything and I don't need you.
A few moments later. What do you want?
Can you help me open this?
What do you say?
Thank you.
She can handle her own business, whether it's fixing stuff around the house or holding down a high-paying job. She can even rock it as a plumber or an electrician if she wants to. But if she keeps shouting from the rooftops that she doesn't need a man, well, that sends a pretty clear message, doesn't it? It's like saying, thanks, but no thanks. At the end of the day, we all crave love and acceptance for who we are. But let's get real here. When you realize that the best you can hope for with a woman is that she'll tolerate your vulnerability with caution and suspicion, well, that's a tough pill to swallow. And let me tell you, there's nothing more soul-crushing than baring your heart to someone you trust, only to be met with contempt and indifference. It's like being sucker-punched in the gut. Once you see that primal reaction for what it is, you can't unsee it. You start to question whether a woman is even capable of truly accepting you for who you are. And that's when you realize there's no point in sticking around. When all you've known is failure and disappointment, sometimes you have to cut your losses and bail before you drown. So, what's the solution? Well, sometimes you have to change course and find satisfaction in unexpected places. It might not be the life you envisioned, but hey, sometimes the road less traveled leads to the most fulfillment. It's about recognizing when it's time to abandon ship before you find yourself neck deep in regret. Alright guys, we've come to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to check other videos on our playlist. We've got some amazing contents for you. See you in our next video.